everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is India May, and today we're going to talk more about my job in the Army. So I am a 68 Sierra, also known as Preventive Medicine Specialist. There are 5 parts to my job, and that is food, water, entomology, hazmat, and general sanitation. Today we're going to talk about my personal favorite, which is food. So food is my total realm. Like, yes, I love everything that comes part of, honestly, about the food part of my job, because we get to inspect every single food facility that we come across from this base to a whole hour and a half away. And it is just honestly really fun. We have this form that we go by, which has the Tri-Service Food Code. And it's basically regulations that they need to follow to ensure a safe and proper handling of food and serving their customers, so we can prevent illnesses and just illnesses and outbreaks from happening. So I'm gonna tell you guys about my worst food inspection. That wasn't really an inspection. I was at this base about 30 minutes from here, and we stopped to get lunch. Okay, people were hungry. I was trying to push through, but they stopped to get lunch. I said, okay, we're gonna eat lunch. There's this food truck that I don't know. There's this food truck that was basically a meat food truck, and I was just gonna get french fries there because I don't eat meat, I'm vegan. So I was gonna get my french fries. I stood in line and I'm watching this lady prepare the food, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, did she just, okay, let that pass, did she? And I just kept on getting more and more stuff that she was doing wrong. I was getting heated waiting on my food. I'm so glad I just got french fries, because you know they're just in the fryer out. You don't really need to touch them. But let me tell you guys what I saw. This lady was handling food all types of wrong. Okay, what was first? Okay, I saw her. She was preparing the food, right? She was touching food. Plus, she wasn't wearing gloves. Both of them were not wearing gloves. And they're not wearing a hairnet. Too wrong, okay? Then she goes and prepares food, right? She takes this to-go box and she puts it on top of other food that's already ready to eat. And she puts food inside of that box, and so that's 3 cross-contamination right there. And I saw more cross-contamination happen, but after that, it was she was preparing food, and then her husband needed help of the card machine, so she stopped what she's doing and she goes and helps him. Nothing wrong with that. The thing was the improper time of washing hands, because after that she went straight back into cooking the food, and so that means she went from food to money to food. Wrong. No, you don't do that. You're supposed to wash your hands in between, and still they weren't wearing gloves. So it was just a whole ordeal, and I'm watching this. I'm sitting back and I'm by my coworker, and I'm like, is this the spot we're supposed to inspect? He's like, no. And I'm like, no. I was like, we're gonna inspect these guys. He was like, but we don't have to. I was like, no, we're gonna inspect these guys, because a foodborne illness outbreak could have happened, and maybe it did happen. I don't know, time will tell. But they were just doing all types of wrong. And so then I was looking, and she took this bag of sausage, no problem, raw sausage, right? And she takes it by the hand, and puts it on the stove and starts cooking it. And then she takes another sausage by the hand that's already cooked, and I'm like, that's cross-contamination. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so I was just so shocked. I was like, what is she doing? And then, you know, there's bugs and everything flying around, and their problem was they had their back door to their food truck open, because, you know, it's hot, Germany, no AC, they're in a food truck, makes sense. But none of their food that was ready, like they had mushrooms and onions that were ready, they weren't covered. The french fries in the back, they weren't covered. They had frozen french fries that's sitting on a countertop. So for french fries, you need to be frying them or they need to be frozen. You never have them sitting on a countertop. So that's time and temperature abuse right there. And then they had ready to eat bread. The husband, he took frozen bread and he was touching it with his bare hands after he just handed money, putting it in the oven. Like, it was just a whole bunch of stuff going on, guys, a whole bunch of stuff. And then she walked out to smoke. Like, I was eating my food now by then, sitting by this picnic table close to a vendor, just watching. I was like, oh my gosh, all types are wrong. She comes out and smokes with her apron on, and I'm like, come on, lady, like, can you just do something right? I'm like, I'm not seeing anything done right. So I was just done. I was eating my fries and I was filling out a form, just remarking everything they were doing wrong, everything. And then I go to the guy and I try to ask, like, what's the name of their food truck, because I need, you know, write the name of the vendor. And he was completely ignoring me, and I was getting upset. I was like, I'm not here to buy anything anymore. I just want to know the name of your food truck. And so this guy comes beside me and he was like, hey, can you give our soldier some respect and just answer her question for her? And I'm like, thank you, sir. And then he finally comes around. He's like, and he tells me the name of the food truck. I'm like, thank you. And I walk off pissed. I come around and this guy is the guy that was trying to help me out. He's standing like on the side of the food truck waiting for his food, and he gets his food, and I'm at the back of the food truck and I'm like, hello sir, ma'am, we're here to do a food health and wellness inspection. And the guy, he goes, oh shit, and he starts running, and he was like, oh. And yeah, he knew they were effed up big time. Like, he knew it, like, especially after disrespecting me. He knew it. But anyhow, that's basically what we do. Like, we inspect people and we make sure they're doing stuff right to protect you guys. Absolutely ridiculous if y'all were there. Oh, so that afternoon when we came back into the office, that's what I was gonna say, is my captain, we came straight to him and we told him about it, and he was like, oh no, we cannot have this happen. And so they went and emailed the person that was in charge of the food vendor, emailed them, and we had them shut down that day. And then we had a mandatory inspection, I think it was a day or two after that, to make sure they fixed everything that they had wrong, because they were not allowed to operate after we inspected them. Like, it was, like, I'm telling you, it was bad. It was bad. And but like, another part of my job for the food part is that we teach classes. It's called the food handlers course, and we certify people to have like a year's certification of being able to handle food properly. And so they could be like vendors, like a food truck, they could do a bake sale on base, or when we have bazaars, they could be those people, those vendors who sell food for their own profit. So we teach people that proper food handling, and honestly, I really love that class because I get to teach. And you know, when you're teaching to people, you give them knowledge, and you can't take away knowledge from anybody. And so I really enjoy just teaching people and allowing them to learn and ask questions about safe food handling. And I was about at the base like an hour and a half away from here, and I taught this class to the biggest class I've ever taught. It was full of all types of ranks, like enlisted and officers and a command sergeant major. And it was a total of 28 people. We taught that class. And then the command sergeant major, he was really happy. Like, almost everybody in that class passed, though. We had a high pass rate. Like, it was awesome. And the command sergeant major, he brought me and my partner who taught to his office afterwards, and we got a coin. And it was pretty great. It was my first coin. I was like, yes, I got a coin. But yeah, that's basically my job. And the food part, I'm telling you, it's my heart and soul. I love that part of my job. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Until next week, I'll see y'all next week. Bye.